In this video, we are going to demonstrate the use of functions and arrays. We want to see how we can send an array to a function, how the elements can be processed in a function, and how the caller or the array in the caller is affected by the modifications of the elements in a function. So we are going to use different examples to demonstrate this. The first example, we just wanted to have a function or a procedure that would modify some values, maybe add a certain value to each and every element and bring it back. This can be, for example, maybe a scenario where we would want to standardize some grades, and the function, maybe we just call this function for the sake of argument, or to have at least something. We are going to have a function here, or what we call a procedure, that increases the scores or grades, anyway, grades by maybe by 15. So the grades will be increased, each and every grade or each and every score will be increased by 15, and the main function is going to display the increased grades. So we are going to display grades before increase and grades after increase, or whatever we think is necessary. So let's create our grades first here. We should have 6 grades, or because we are going to have them already, we can do it without specifying the size, but we want 6 grades. So we are going to have 45, maybe 50, maybe 66, maybe 70, and maybe 62. Okay, so maybe these are grades for a quiz or end of semester, assuming we have a class of 6 students. And we've seen that maybe the grades are a bit low, and you would want to help these 2 guys, especially this one. And we are going to modify or to standardize grades for each and every student, maybe adding 15 to each and every student. That's what we want our function here to do. So we are going to have a function here that should do that. So here I want to show you how a function is written, especially on the part of how it receives an array. So if the parameter is expecting to receive an array, how is it presented? This is very important. So this one, we are going to have it as void. It's not going to return a single value. It's going just to modify our values and return something. So we call it a void, and we can just call it maybe modify or standardize, whatever. And it's going to receive 2 things. We are going to give it 2 things. Very important. When we are sending an array to a function, we need to specify the name of the function, or to specify a parameter to receive an array, and another parameter that should specify the size. So we are going to have an array received here. We can repeat the name of grades. We can give it a different name altogether, whatever. I'll just call it scores. And we need to specify the square brackets here. This indicates that this is not just an ordinary parameter, but it's an array parameter. The parameter is expecting to receive an array. So we specify this. Okay, then we can specify another parameter here that should be used to receive the size. We'll just call it n. let's put it below. The comment should be above. Okay, so this is our function. We can declare our function here. We can declare our function here. Take note of the semicolon at the end. Yeah, so this is what our program is going to do. But this function, nothing much is being done here. We just want it to do less than n, less than the size, and of course in. We just want it to do what? To modify the values. So it's going to modify the values. The value which is on position 0 scores on position 0, which in our case is I, should be modified. It should now hold the values which is on position I plus 15. So we're going to modify that value by 15 and keep it on the same. And that's all what we wanted here. So for this function we are done. So each and every element is going to be modified. We can now call this function and display our content here. Let's call our function. Our function is modify. Our function is modify, and we are sending two things: the array, which is grades, and the size. In our case, the size is 6. So the size of array is 6. So we are done. Our program is complete. We just needed to display the changes that have been made here. We can have a loop again. A bit of correction here. Again, we have made a mistake. Our I should be starting from 0. I'm repeating this mistake now and again. Take note of that. Our I should, or our index, is starting from 0. So here we are display modified elements, or display elements. After the call, we want to display our elements here. So we are making our display here, and the display will be what are we displaying? Okay, let's just have something like this. We are displaying grades on I, and maybe we just have a comma. We just display them on the same line, or we can just have a space. Okay, compile. Oh, spelling of grades. Sorry, it's grades, not grades. Okay, let's compile. Oh, sorry. I just copied it from down here, but here we are using 6 for the display. Our size is 6. Okay, size 6, not any. Any is used here, not up here. Okay, so here size is 6. Our program compiles, and we can run our program. And now let's see what we have. It's not showing all. Something is wrong somewhere. 65, 81, 85, blah, blah, blah. Something is wrong somewhere. Let's see what's wrong with our program. Made a mistake of our index. Our index is starting from 0. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so we have this as an output, but let's see what this output, is it giving us the correct ones? Let's see. So the last element is not correct. It's because our elements are 5, but we are sending incorrect size here. It's supposed to be 5. I thought we are using 6 grades, but they are 5. So we have 5 here. Should also indicate 5 here. So we are just modifying these 5. The last element was showing 15, which was incorrect. It's not part of this array. There are 5 elements that should be modified. So our size is 5. Our size is 5. Okay. we compile and run this one. So this is our output. If you come here and check our output, you'll find that each and every element has increased by 15. So this is interesting. First of all, we need to take note that the changes that have been made to our array in a procedure, our function, have been reflected in the caller. So here we can make a conclusion to say the arrays are passed to a function by reference and not by value. So if you change an element in a function, those changes will affect the array in the caller. That's the point that we need to get from here. Okay, so this is just displaying elements here, but we can also have another maybe array that should do addition of numbers or whatever. We can combine so many other things, put them together, and it should do some calculations, etc. I'm going to show you something very small, just an array that should be able to add the elements of a program together and return a sum. So I'm going to modify this program or change this function here. Starting from here, let's change this program to maybe sum, and this is that returns sum of array elements. Okay, so in here we are going to have, maybe let's just have sum. Oh no, we are already using sum. Let's have total equals 0, and here we are going to be using our total equals total plus the sum. We just want to get the total or the sum for the function. So we have made these changes. So the function is just adding values together, and we can make a call. Before we do that, okay, one more thing to do. The function, we want it to return a value, so we can even have a return value here. After everything is done, we can return total. We can return total here, and we should do the same modification to our caller, our declaration. We are returning integer, and we are declaring here sum, something like that. So we can make a call, and this should go. The call is, okay, we should receive that into maybe here, result. We are calling sum, then display the total for this. So see out, result, done. So this is our program. We have a function which is just used to add values together, and it's returning the total. And here we are making a call to that. We'll add these 5 numbers. So let's compile. Our program compiles with a problem, and it's giving us a total of 293. You can verify this value if adding these will give us 293, but we are using that just to add the values. So this is just demonstrating that you can send a bunch of numbers together to a function, and you can do some modifications or calculations there. You'll be required to do different calculations, or there will be circumstances where you want to do different calculations, getting a maybe smallest number, the highest number, or maybe just searching a value and returning a value as we did before, but using a function, or calculating average and other things. So this should mark the end of our demonstration on arrays. Thank you.